Everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back to take 3 of this video. Already received 3 calls while I was making it, so I had to start it for the 3rd time. Oh, so annoyed. But the idea is that I'm really late and behind with videos because both August and September I was insanely busy with a lot of stuff, mainly from work. So, and also um, so that takes precedence, of course, on everything else. But at the same time, towards the end of September, I've decided to take a small vacation because I really need that, and went for around 10 days in Italy, so back home, so in order to see my family, my friends, and as I said, relax basically. But because of this, all these factors, I've gathered a lot of stuff because I forgot to didn't have the time to do a pickups video for August. So we have the stuff for August and September. So there is a lot of stuff here, like music, movies, TV series, and games. So just be prepared. This is going to be a long video. I hope not to be interrupted again for the 4th time, and just get on with this video because I have many others that I want to do. And let's start with music. And in August, was able to buy for really cheap some Alan Parsons Project CDs. I'm a big fan of that band since my time in high school, when I forced basically my friends to listen to Eye in the Sky. That's the disc that got me into Alan Parsons Project. It's a band that I absolutely love, and it's probably among my 10 favorites if I think about it. It's difficult to say, but they always had an important part in my music taste. And it's interesting that got 2 discs that follow the same idea that Alan Parsons did, mainly in the 70s and I think early 80s, which is the concept album idea. So they focus on a single theme, a single subject, and made an entire album on it. And in this case, I was able to buy Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe, as you can imagine, on the stories of Edgar Allan Poe, and also The Turn of the Friendly Card, which is focused on the addiction to gambling. And both these discs are amazing, very different from one another, of course. While Tales of Mystery, it's focused, I think, more on atmosphere and this kind of orchestral music with their signature rock, which is like alternative and now I cannot think of the word. Alternative rock. Let's say alternative. I cannot remember the other one. Sorry about this entire. It's the 3rd time I talk about this disc. I really want to move on. And the second one, it's very different. It's more rock than rather than focus on atmosphere and orchestra. But both of these are amazing. While personally, I prefer Turn of the Friendly Card because it's more into my usual music that I expect from Alan Parsons. So, as I said, more rock. Tales of Mystery, it's a very interesting disc, which I recommend if you're into this kind of alternative rock kind of band from the mid 70s, since Tales of Mystery from the 76 and Friendly Card I think it's from the 79. I was thinking about 1980, but these are both really good, and I cannot wait to buy more Alan Parsons discs. I was taking a break now since I listened to these 2 very close to each other, and it's time to take a break from Alan Parsons. And I managed to do that by excuse me, by focusing on other band at the same time. One of that is another favorite of mine, which is Electric Light Orchestra, and I love them. It's been a while now. Really like Jeff Lynne, both on his own and also when he was in the Traveling Wilburys. But this disc actually caught my attention because of its weirdness in a way, because it's by both Electric Light Orchestra and Olivia Newton-John, the one from Greece, and it's called Xanadu, not Pax Xanadu, but Xanadu, and I just love to say the name Xanadu. And it's interesting. This is the soundtrack of the movie Xanadu, which it didn't do well, the movie. While contrary, the soundtrack did very well, and I can see why, because this is an actual really good disc. But it's interesting also that you can really tell the difference between the two halves of the disc. While the first 5 songs are focused on Olivia Newton-John, and you can say that this is really from a musical, like the kind of songs, the rhythm, the melodies, they're really nice songs. But the second half, I think, is where the good stuff is, and then it's the Electric Light Orchestra. It's very Jeff Lynne-ish stuff, and it's fantastic actually. The second half of the disc, so track 5 to 10, it's amazing. The first half it's good and nothing against that, but the second part it's more into my preference, so real Electric Light Orchestra stuff. So I actually recommend Xanadu. It's probably not expensive, and it has really good music actually. And finally, the final disc that I managed to get before going to Italy, it's from a band that I actually really like, and I'm a big fan of them. It's in a long time now. And this is the last disc that they made brand new, and it's from ZZ Top, La Futura. And I love these guys. I just love the cover with the 3 of them. But I love their look. I mean, the long beards, the sunglasses, the clothes. I mean, I love the music, of course. That's the main thing. With ZZ Top, I think you have to focus mainly on their music. Because, in all honesty, Billy Gibbons is not an amazing singer. I mean, he's okay, and especially now that he's getting older, but when he starts to play his guitar, I mean, I was like, there he is, this is what I was waiting for. I mean, they're great. And La Futura is actually a good disc. It's an interesting mix of classic ZZ Top music with something new. They were trying to incorporate new sounds into this, and I think it works very well. It's a good disc. Maybe not the best by ZZ Top, because most of them are actually really good, but there are really good songs into this. So I actually recommend, if you're interested in old school rock and roll, look no further than ZZ Top. And with this, we're done with music again. Let's move on to movies, DVDs, so movies, TV series. And let's start with this combo here, because I was very excited when I got the season 2 of the Batman animated series, which is, I think, one of the best superhero animated series ever made, together with X-Men and Justice League Unlimited. Already rewatched season 1 because I watched most of this when I was a kid on television, but I really want to rebuy the entire series because this is really good. It's so good. It's not and nostalgic, of course, to me. But I waited a long time simply because I wanted the price to go down, and then I bought this for £4. So, and it's totally worth it because it's a fantastic show. As I said, easily top 3 material in terms of superhero stuff, because I'm a huge fan as well of the original X-Men animated series. But my favorite is probably the Justice League Unlimited series. At the end of the day, I'm in DC's camp rather than Marvel, even though it's less cool maybe to say today, I don't know. But this series is really good. I don't even want to say highly recommended, because who doesn't know this? I mean, this is one of the greatest animated shows of all time, so it's almost redundant to say go watch it, because you probably already did. It's a classic of the 90s. And speaking of superheroes, I was so angry with this because I already bought the DVD, and then I have to buy it again, because Marvel, in all its great wisdom, so Disney, decided to release the movie again. Of course, I'm talking about fucking Days of Future Past. Basically, I bought the DVD when it was released because I liked Days of Future Past. I think it's a good movie. I like the X-Men. They're my favorite Marvel stuff. And I watched it, I liked it, bought it. Fantastic. A couple of months later, they released the Rogue cuts. So I said, motherfuckers, I have to buy this again because, of course, of Rogue. Since she's my favorite X-Men, she's my favorite Marvel character. How can I ignore this? Luckily, it was not very expensive, but too much for what it is. So I sold my other DVD for £1, of course, because when you try to sell a DVD again, their value is 0. and bought this again. I mean, it's a good movie. I liked it, but the idea of buying again after just a couple of months really irritates me. And also because I'm getting so sick of these superhero movies. I've watched a list of movies from now to 2020, and they're like, I don't know, 30 superhero movies from both DC and Marvel. I mean, that's crazy. And most of them I don't not even very interested into. I mean, I'm so sick of this genre, even though they're not bad. I'm not saying this, but so annoying. Again, the movie's good. Rogue, it's okay in this movie. I mean, she's here for like 20 minutes or something. And I always hated the way they portrayed Rogue in the movies because it's all about the whining and complaining about her powers. Since she cannot touch anyone, she cannot have a normal life, she cannot have touch her loved ones. I mean, whatever. Just focus on the awesome Rogue from the the cartoons from the 90s, the Super Rogue with Miss Marvel's power. That's the Rogue I love. And the future from the X-Men series in terms of movies looks interesting because, of course, spoiler alert, the next movie is going to be the Age of Apocalypse, I suppose, because of this post-credit scene. And that's really cool. I mean, the Age of Apocalypse is one of the greatest comic book series, I think. But even though I'm excited, I'm a bit worried at the same time because I'm sure that they're going to mess with the story. They're not going to do the exact same thing as I want. And what I want is, for example, Magneto to be the leader of the X-Men, and he's married with Rogue, and the X-Men, it's this weird team. For example, Wolverine is not in the X-Men, so it would be insane to have an X-Men movie not about Wolverine. So it's not going to happen, of course. But we'll see what they're going to do. The idea, it's very interesting, of course, because the Age of Apocalypse, it's an amazing series. But we'll see what they're going to do. So, Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cats. Stupid Marvel. And let's move on to TV series. And as you know, during this period, I've been watching regularly, religiously, and with a great deal of love, Babylon 5. It's becoming one of my favorite series of all time because it's amazing in terms of stories, in terms of story, character development, and everything that I love about a good TV series. So naturally, I've bought both season 4, there you go, season 4 and season 5. Already watched season 4 in its entirety before going to Italy, and it's fantastic. Basically, in a way, this is where the series ends. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen to season 5 because, for what I read, the network was ready to cancel Babylon 5, so they wrapped everything up to a grand epic conclusion of both Earth's Civil War and the Reaper. The Reaper. You can tell that I play some Mass Effect and the Shadow Wars. The Reapers. And it's not a complaint, it's just a detail. The only thing that I would have preferred from season 4 was to invert the stuff. So deal with Earth first and then put an end to the Shadow Wars. That would have been perfection, I think. But it's very good because both arcs are fantastic. I love the way they resolve the situation on Earth. I love the way they resolve the thing with the Shadows, not the Reapers. And season 4, it's fantastic. But then for this reason, because it's so good and they wrap everything up, I don't know what to expect from season 5. It's going to be great, I'm sure of it, because it's Babylon 5. But I'm really curious at this point. So we'll see what's happened. I have no idea. And so I will finish Babylon 5 soon. I'm very excited and sad about it. But I know there is a sort of continuation, the Crusader, how's it called? That unfortunately it's just one season, but that's the next one I'm going to watch after Babylon 5 because I love this universe. And to finish the TV series section, I followed this recommendation from another gaming podcast. As you know, I'm a big fan of that podcast and all the individual hosts. And recently they've been talking about this series, Wayward Pines. So with all the kinda Twin Peaks references and how they talk about it, I was more than curious. I bought the day one it was released in the UK, and I insanely love this series. But if I have to say, until the last 5 minutes. I didn't love the last 5 minutes of the show. It's just me. Personally, I would have done differently. I know I'm going to tell, of course, because you need to watch this, because this is a really good show. It's really fantastic. Matt Dillon is awesome. As Dustin said, don't let the name M. Night Shyamalan scares you, because this is an actually amazing series. Really interesting story. I agree that if you like these stories about little town with really dark secrets like Twin Peaks, Silent Hill, that kind of stuff, you're going to love Wayward Pines. It's interesting that I'm rewatching Twin Peaks with a friend of mine who actually never saw Twin Peaks, and she's loving it so far. And I tell her, when we're done with Twin Peaks, you're going to watch Wayward Pines. You know that, so get ready. But she is really loving Twin Peaks, so I'm sure she's going to love Wayward Pines. If I have to say, my favorite episode in this was I don't remember which disc and number, but it's the one that ends when no. I'm not going because I might give spoilers, but let's say when they hear the noise but they don't see what it was, if it makes sense. That was amazing. When I finished that, I was like, oh my god, this series is fantastic. So I know it's a bit vague, but I was about to give some big spoilers. And let's move on to the other movies, since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies. But I already watched some of this, so I can be a bit more precise. So, of course, I bought a lot of movies. That's normal. I bought a lot of movies every day, or every week at least. And the first one that I want to talk about is, stay here, this one, Ex Machina. I'm always not sure how to tell this. I heard a lot of good stuff about this. I wanted to see this in cinemas, but didn't manage to. Didn't have the time. People was not entirely sure. As a last resort, I tried to ask my brother, and when he saw the cover, he said, "Are you crazy?" Of course not. So, okay, let's wait for the DVD. So, bought the DVD, and it was interesting. And when I was in the store looking at the movie, I was like thinking to myself, "Finally, I can watch this." A guy, someone passing by, stopped me, called for me, and said, "This is a great movie. You're going to love it." I was like, "Okay, thank you, whoever you are." But I was actually nicer with him. I was like, "Oh, good to know," because I didn't watch it on cinemas. I was like, "Oh, it's a really good movie," and he's actually right. I really like Ex Machina. And I didn't expect the ending, I have to say, and it's a really good one. I really love this movie. It caught me by surprise towards the end, I have to say. It's a really, really intelligent movie. And one of the best serious sci-fi movie that I saw recently. It's a really good movie. Highly recommended. Then, in Italy, I was happy to see that the DVD store that I've been a good client of since middle school is still in business, because last summer they closed down their historic shop that was in the same place since I can remember, because they said that we're moving to another place, and I was very worried. But they opened this amazing store full of movies, CDs, anime, whatever you like. I was like in paradise, and of course I bought 3 movies from there. And the first one, let's start with this one actually. I saw Dustin Christ picking up this movie. The way he talked about it caught my attention. Up until now, his suggestions worked fine for me, so I bought RoboJux. Whatever this is, I never saw this, never heard of it before Dustin's video, so I say, let's give it a shot. I mean, another recommendation from him, Brick, was an amazing movie. So this looks a lot of fun, actually. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm really curious about this movie. It looks interesting, actually, so I'll tell you later what this thing is. And then when I saw this, I couldn't resist. This is a great movie from my childhood. Very nostalgic. I don't even know to talk about. I don't even need to talk about Lady Hawk. Who didn't see this movie? I mean, who doesn't know about Lady Hawk? A really great love story. I saw this movie when I was in elementary school. I've watched it again on VHS, and I said, "Let's buy the DVD." It was €3. How could I skip Lady Hawk? I love this movie. Not my favorite with Roger Hauer, because between Blade Runner and Buffy, the movie, it's impossible to top those. But still, a great performance by him. I really like him. But it's such a classic. How can you not love Lady Hawk? Also, this was back in London. This one caught my attention as well. It's called A Field in England, and it looks very interesting. It's about a band of the deserters during the British Civil War, and it looks very cool since it's all in black and white. I think it looks like it, at least. It's all about like these deserters fleeing from battle, meeting a witch or something, who forced them to find a treasure in a mushroom field. I mean, it looks like insane, but really cool and interesting. I cannot wait to watch A Field in England. Who did this, by the way? I can't find it, but a psychedelic trip into magic and madness. Ooh, I like this. Can't wait to watch A Field in England. Looks very promising. Also, this one, I couldn't skip it. Really, how can I miss something like Westworld? With Yul Brynner, this sort of Western meets Terminator before Terminator. When was 73? It's older than Terminator, actually. Just the cover looks really awesome. The idea of this vacation place, Western theme vacation place, when of course everything went wrong. And it's interesting that this movie was written and directed by Michael Crichton, the guy who did Jurassic Park, at least the director of Jurassic Park. No, it's actually the writer, now that I think about it. And how could I skip this? This looks more than awesome. And it's funny, again, when I bought this, the cashier looked at this and now this is a good movie. I was like, oh yeah, I know. There's also a sequel called Futura, but let's see if I like Westworld first. And if I do, we'll buy the sequel as well. But it looks really promising. Cannot wait to watch Westworld. Also, this really caught my attention. Because after I rewatched Brazil, I'm really getting into Terry Gilliam more. I want to buy some more of his movies, and this really interests me. And it's a Time Bandits. It's about, as the name suggests, mainly time travel. So, with historic characters meet up with the protagonist in order to do something with time travel, maybe to save time itself. I don't know. It looks in a way like what's it called? Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure in a way, but kind of less goofy maybe. With like Sean Connery plays Agamemnon, John Cleese plays Robin Hood. That looks awesome. I'm really curious because I really like Terry Gilliam, so this really caught my attention. It's one of the movies that I want to watch next, so I'll be more specific next time I watch it. But I just love. Also, the cover, I think it's really nice. I would love to have a poster with this. Really interested in Time Bandits. Also, the next three are fantastic movie. Already watched all of them. Couldn't resist. Cannot wait to rewatch them. The first one, it's by René Laloux. Le Maître du Temps. As you can imagine, it's a French movie. And it's actually an animated movie, a sci-fi animated movie, and it's fantastic. I mean, this is from 1982, and it looks gorgeous, to say the least. And it's a really great story. And again, the animation, it's so good. Great music, great animation. It's a great story, and fantastic. I cannot recommend the Metro de Temple enough. I still remember when I tried to talk about it to the cashier because I couldn't find it, and they say I'm looking for Le Maître Temps. Like, how you write that? I mean, it's French, but it was like Lesma blah blah blah. So, oh, I found it. I mean, good for you. So, highly recommend it if you can find it. The only problem is you can see it's by Eureka. I don't know if you have it anywhere else than in the United Kingdom, but Eureka DVDs are expensive. So I spent £15 for this, which is a lot of money for a 1982 animated movie. But I have to say, it was worth every penny because it's so good. The thing with Eureka, I already have a DVD by them. It's Wizard by Ralph Baskin. The thing is, they restore these old DVDs, and the quality is excellent in every sense, but they're really expensive. That's the only thing. And they said to me, don't wait for a price down because it's not going to happen. It's not going down £15. It might go up. It might goes up. So buy it now, because I already missed one Eureka DVD, which is Hausu, the what's that 1970s, 1980s Japanese psychedelic horror movie. And that movie went up actually, probably because now it's a cult movie. Because I heard a lot about it on YouTube, but when I saw it, it was around £10. Now it's 17. So it went up a lot. So I have to find a way to get that movie. But the thing is, Eureka did a really great job with Le Maître du Temps. If you can bear listen to an entire movie in French, do it because it's really good. It's an amazing sci-fi movie. The next one, it's probably before I bought the last one. This was the movie of the month of the semester, because when I saw this movie, I was like, I have to have this. How can you resist a cover like this? But especially because it's a movie by George Romero, Night Riders. Probably you already know, but just in case. I mean, Camelot is a state of mind. This movie is fantastic. I might even say it might be my favorite George Romero movie because it's so unexpected out of him. I mean, I love the Dead series. I have all of them. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Those are masterpieces. But then, after you saw, I don't know, Day of the Dead, which is probably my favorite, it's difficult to say between that and Dawn of the Dead. But you saw those movies, and then you see Night Riders, which is such a nice story about this man, and especially the main protagonist, who doesn't want to abandon his ideas and who he truly is, even facing money, because it's about this band of guys dressing up as knights, doing duels and all medieval stuff with motorcycles. And of course, progressively they're getting more famous, so agencies want to pay them in order to, I don't know, get pictures, make movies about them. But the main protagonist doesn't want that because, say, that with that, of course, when money gets involved, everything crumbles. It's not the same anymore. And Tom Savini, again, it's awesome in this movie. He's a really good actor, actually. And he's probably the best character together with the main protagonist, because it's actually the one who gets corrupted by the money but then realizes the mistakes and everything. Please, guys, watch this movie because it's fantastic. Buy the DVD, buy the Blu-ray, watch Night Riders because it's really good. It's a fantastic movie. And finally, the last DVD. And I'm so glad to have this finally. And it's time to get really deep into this. Mad Max Fury Road. The movie of the year for me. This is my favorite movie of the year. When I saw this in the theaters, I couldn't believe how good this movie is. Of course, it's my favorite Mad Max movie, even though I love the other three. But this was so good. I mean, not only the acting, the story, the world. I love how they portray this post-apocalyptic world. Without the need of explanation. This is the world. You don't need to explain. It's almost as it is explained by the story as progressively goes. You are more familiar with the world, with the situation it is. and these characters are so fantastic. I mean, starting from Tom Hardy as Max, but then Charlize Theron, she's so good as Furiosa. This movie is fantastic, and uh, I was waiting for months for this. I mean, after I watched it, I was like, I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again. But then, for whatever reason, it was released pretty late in the United Kingdom. It was released a couple of days ago, and I couldn't wait so much time that I bought the DVD in Italy. I don't care. I just wanted this friggin' movie because I want to rewatch it so badly because this is amazing. It's such a great journey, such a great adventure. I mean, I love every second of it, and I really want a sequel. But at the same time, this movie is so good, and it will be very hard for Frank Miller to make George Miller, sorry, uh, to George Miller to do a really great sequel of this because I believe the expectations are sky high after Fury Road. But please watch this. I'm sure everybody watch it again because it's amazing. I don't know what to say other than that. It's such an amazing movie. I've read some interviews, and it's really interesting how they develop both the world, the characters, and the story itself. It's a fantastic movie, and as I said, I just love how they portray this world. It's done so well, and because you can spend an entire movie talking about this post-apocalyptic world, but you don't need to, in a way. If it's well explained, almost indirectly, you don't need to have an explanation. Oh, this happened. There was a nuclear explosion. Blah blah blah. Do you remember when? No, you don't need that. And that shows, I think, amazing writing skills and great director skills by George Miller, and the acting was amazing. I think there are so many reasons to watch this movie. You can watch it for the story, you can watch it for the setting, you can watch it for the acting. It's fantastic stuff. I cannot wait to watch it again. And finally, let's move to the games because I was able to buy some games, of course. Um, I managed to get some PS3 titles. I didn't write it down, so I don't remember all of them. But let's see if I can remember. Was since I have a PS3, of course, but I cannot play it as much as I want since it's in Italy. So, of course, when I went to Italy, I play Mass Effect exclusively because it's one of my favorite series. So I played and finished Mass Effect 1 and 2 twice again. So, but I also wanted to expand my collection for when I finally done with Mass Effect, so I can play other games. Naturally, one of the most anticipated games for me, one of the games I want to play the most, basically, Wolfenstein New Order. Also play got Dragon Age 1 Origins, Deep Space 1, No More Heroes, the PS3 remake. Um, what else? Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, and there's something else I think, but I cannot remember. The funny thing is, actually, I remember when I went to, of course, we have GameStop in Italy, and I went to a GameStop where I usually go because they have this used PS3 games for nothing, basically. I got Dragon Age and Wolfenstein together, and there were some people before me, and they were all asking the same thing. And then when I finally managed to get to the cashier, I showed the games, ready to pay, and the guy was very happy, saying, "Finally, someone who's not asking about FIFA and is not buying FIFA." I was laughing so hard because I mean, and it's true. All the guys before me were just asking for this fucking soccer game. There was plenty of games. It was just like, how about the new FIFA or PES? And there I am with Wolfenstein and Dragon Age. It's like, finally, someone's buying something different. These sports games are terrible. I mean, it's insane. I don't mind them very much. I don't own them, but I don't mind playing them with a friend. But it was funny, everybody. Do you have FIFA? Do you have FIFA? There you go, Wolfenstein. So, managed to increase my PS3 collection. But then for my stuff here in London, got some PS Vita and PSP titles. Start with the Vita. I actually got Final Fantasy VIII on PSN, was on a good price, and it's a game that I always wanted to replay. Since I have a weird relationship with the game, I never really liked it when because I own it on PS1, of course, and I played that twice without finishing it because I think when I reached disc 3, on both occasions I was like, I don't care anymore, let's play something else. But then I want to play it to completion, and decided to go for PSN so I can play it on a go, of course. Also because my PS1 copy, there is the first disc that doesn't work anymore, so I cannot play it technically from the beginning. So that's fun. I played around 3-4 hours or something, and it's a good game. So far, I liked it. I love the junction system, I have to say. I didn't remember it was so good. And then again for the Vita, went for decided to went for a strategy game, and opted for Disgaea 3, Absence of Detention. Played about 5 hours or so. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's actually a really good strategy game. I've heard from Alex Return to Mother Base that 4 it's actually a bit better, but I was lucky enough to find this for a good price because now it's kind of expensive. But and by the way, I want to add on GameStop, the PS Vita's libraries there, the selection of games are so disappointing. I mean, there's barely nothing. Then moving on to the PSP, so we can wrap this up because it's going for a long time. Got 3 games. Wanted to go for a survival horror so I can play in this period, even though I'm not much into Halloween because I'm Italian. We don't celebrate Halloween, but at least not my generation. But I don't mind to play a survival horror here and there, also because there are many on PSP and Vita and DS. So I decided to try Obscure the Aftermath, which, if I'm correct, it's the sequel of the first Obscure game, hence the title The Aftermath, I suppose. I played for 15 minutes or something, then I have to play something else and do something else, but it looks interesting, it looks promising, and I have to say I love the cover of this. It looks very survival horror-ish, and this is probably the next game I'm going to play. Then, a game that I always wanted to try, because I love Neon Falcon, who doesn't, and it's Gurumin, a monstrous adventure. I heard this is the first attempt on real action, 3D action RPG by Falcon. I'm not sure it's the Falcon fanatics, it's too keen on this, but it's a Falcon game. It was incredible. Weird enough, it wasn't super expensive. The only thing, of course, this shit that I ate with these stickers that don't go away. But I'm really curious about Gurumin. I really always wanted to try it. Again, another title that I love to say other than Xanadu is, of course, Gurumin. But cannot wait to play Gurumin. And finally, managed to get this for a strangely low price because I bought it on eBay, so it's imported from the States. Because on the UK this game is very expensive, and that is Mimana, the YR Chronicle. Sorry for the weird pronunciation, but I heard this is actually a good RPG on the system. So it's both like turn-based. There's also like a sort of date sim. It looks interesting, and again, instead of spending £50, I managed to get this for 15. So how can I say not? And that's it for the games and for the whole video. Finally managed to wrap this up. As I said, sorry, it went for a long time, but I managed a lot of stuff as you saw. And this is it for now. So I can finally do some more videos. I got some game discussion and something else that I want to do. And like always, guys, thanks for watching. Take care.